Right now, get your hands on a limited edition Geekdom 101 official t-shirt over at teespring.com/geekdom101-official. I will leave the link down below in the description. These are only available in limited quantities, so get yours now. And thank you, as always, for your continued support and love of Geekdom 101. It means a lot to me. Let's talk about Dragon Ball Super Episode 69, the long-awaited, heavily promoted return of Arale and the Dr. Slump, or the latest Dragon Ball and Dr. Slump crossover. The episode's Japanese title is Goku Tai Arale Hacha Mecha Batoru de Chikyu ga Owaru, which translates to Goku versus Arale. Earth ends in a wacky battle, and I think the word wacky is a perfect way to describe this episode. I was looking forward to it all week because Dragon Ball Super tends to have really, really good slice of life, in between. I don't want to use the word filler, but, in between arc episodes, and that's why I was looking forward to it. Plus, like I said earlier, Toei had been promoting this episode a lot. It's almost as if they were promoting a new arc. I mean, there was art that had come out. I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter or if you follow Herms, you should, but there was art that Toei had released of this episode. There was interviews with the Goku and Arale's voice actresses. So much promotion over this episode, and I really believe that they're trying to get those Dr. Slump fans, those older fans from back in the day, they're trying to bring these people back in for this episode. And I'm wondering, are they trying to maybe bring Dr. Slump back? Do you think we'll get a third Dr. Slump anime? Do you think we'll get a third Dr. Slump revival? I don't know. And let me know down below in the comments if you think that is the plan. Let me know. I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say about it. Also, if you're wondering about any of these characters, I do have a couple of videos I'll link in the description that will help you out, including the video where I actually explain who Arale is. A lot of folks aren't familiar with Arale, and I understand that completely because Dr. Slump was never localized, so we don't have a dub or even an official sub-release, so it's hard to really know unless you read the Dr. Slump manga, which you can always go pick up. I think it should still be available, but I haven't seen it in shelves at Barnes & Noble in years. So, like I said, videos in the description that will help you out. And I'm going to do my best to explain things here in this review. Guys, you got to forgive me, though. This is a very difficult review to do because I know that most of my audience, most of you guys are Dragon Ball fans. And like I said, a lot of you guys have never seen Slump. So, try to follow me, okay? The first thing I want to say is that if you grew up on, Dragon Ball Z, muscles and transformations and fighting and shit, this might not be the episode for you as far as understanding kind of what Toriyama was doing prior to Dragon Ball Z and, in the early 80s. This episode was all comedy. And a lot of the humor in this episode was, I guess, tailor-made for Dr. Slump fans. I will try my best to explain it, but it's hard. It's really hard because, like I said, Dr. Slump was never localized. So, the episode actually starts out in Penguin Village playing the Dr. Slump theme song, the Dr. Slump anime theme song from the 80s, dude. It's almost as if you're watching a completely different series. It was very weird. It's in the Slump universe. We see the sun in the sky brushing his teeth, and then the pig announcer. If you've ever seen Dr. Slump, you know that this is very common in that world. The pig announcer says, Arale's going to Dragon Ball Super, and they play the Dr. Slump music, like I said. Arale is there with the Gachans, who are the two angels that are with her. I've already explained this in the previous videos, but the Gachan, the two angels with the little, the ones that are always around her, those are not the same kind of angels as Whis and Vados. And I'm just letting you guys know that, again, everything that you knew about Dragon Ball, any kind of power scaling or anything that you kind of took serious in Dragon Ball, you need to throw that out the window when watching this episode, because this episode right here legitimately doesn't make any sense, and it's not supposed to. This is how Dr. Slump is. Shit just happens. I'm not trying to excuse it or say it's bad, but it's clearly targeted at people who grew up with Slump. So, Arale meets Senbei Norimaki, who is her inventor and the main character of Dr. Slump. He heads off to West City because he's going to go compete in this thing, this science fair called the World Invention Award, right? So there she goes, and that's how we begin our episode. We show up there, and actually Goku and Vegeta are there working security. Goku's got his hair slicked back and with gel and shit. I know some people were freaking out over this. They were like, oh man. But, Goku's hair isn't supposed to change, it's, he's a Saiyan. Well, it never says in the rules that you can't modify your hair. It just says that the hair always defaults back to the way it's supposed to look. So, I guess in Dragon Ball now, you can grease up your hair and change it even if you're a intergalactic space warrior. So, in this World Invention Award, Mr. Satan is there presenting the award. Bulma is there, but she's not competing, because she probably would win the thing. I mean, she did invent a time machine just 1 week ago on Dragon Ball Super. And we do see Kid Trunks in a suit. So we all kind of thought that maybe they were going to do a time skip in this episode. But no, it's just Kid Trunks in his suit. He looks older, but he's in a suit. But it's still Kid Trunks. When you actually see him, he's Kid Trunks. But he does look a little bit older because of the suit. So Goku gets bored doing this, and he's like, fuck this, and he undoes his hair and just leaves. He literally stops working security and leaves. And I was wondering, wait a minute, why the hell are Goku and Vegeta working security for something so simple? Shouldn't it have been Krillin? Isn't he the cop? Wouldn't that be the natural kind of way to do it? I think Krillin and Jocko working security would have been funnier, but as you know, you gotta have Goku in there because he's Goku, right? What can you do? So Mr. Satan announces that Senbei is the winner. Bulma's there, and basically what Senbei invented was this little top-looking containment unit that will create whatever you want. Like anything you ask it to create, it will create it. So in the episode, it makes a porno magazine. This would have been a great opportunity to have Roshi show up and say something perverted, but I guess they didn't have enough time, couldn't really fit it in there. And I'm wondering if Senbei invented this thing, who the hell needs Dragon Balls, right? By the way, I should also mention that the animation in this episode is on point. I do believe Naoki Tate did some stuff on here. But of course, Anime AJ on his channel breaks those down way better than I do. That's what he does. That's his niche, I guess, his expertise when it comes to Dragon Ball. Even though he knows a lot of shit, that's what I think he's known for. So, the ghost of Dr. Mashirito shows up. Dr. Mashirito is the main villain from Dr. Slump, the scientist who has always rivaled Senbei, and he, of course, is, for those who don't know, he's supposed to be a pun on Toriyama's first editor, Torishima, who always rejects Toriyama's ideas. So, as a result, every time that you see Mashirito, he's always saying, rejected, rejected, rejected. Toriyama always makes fun of real-life people inside of his manga. That's just how it is. And this episode, even though it wasn't written by Toriyama, I believe King Ryu is the one credited for it. The spirit of Toriyama is all over this episode. So Senbei was thinking, okay, I'm going to use this little device to create Satan merchandise. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, shouldn't there already be Satan merchandise? So Mashirito says, no, I'm the real genius. And Mashirito is a ghost because he died in Dr. Slump. And what happens is, out of nowhere, Arale shows up with the Gachon. So we find out that Mashirito fed Arale this medicine to make them more rambunctious. It's the way I interpreted it. Like more, I guess, ADD-ish. I don't really know how to really describe it. They were just out of control here. Mr. Satan is, of course, complaining that he's not the center of attention, wants to play around with Arale, and Arale handles his ass. Arale handles his ass. And it's just funny the way that they shot this. And then the Gachon, the two little angels, start to fuck shit up. They're eating shit. That's just stuff that they did in Dr. Slump. Mr. Satan's like, don't worry, I'll take care of this. And he asks Vegeta for help. So Vegeta confronts Arale. So for the first time in Dragon Ball history, we have Vegeta versus Arale. Vegeta thinks it's going to be a cakewalk. Arale's no pushover. And by the way, guys, again, like I said at the beginning of the review, don't try to power scale this. It's wacky. Dr. Slump characters are ridiculously overpowered. Dr. Slump, Senbei's baby Turbo has reality warping abilities, dude. Turbo is up there with the gods as far as power goes, and it's Senbei's baby. Again, you can't take this seriously. I don't want people to sit there and say this makes a joke out of Dragon Ball. It's just, this is how Toriyama wrote Dr. Slump, and that's how it is here. This episode is just supposed to be a wacky crossover, and it is wacky. So Goku's outside napping. Arale charges at Vegeta, who, like I said, he thinks it'll be a cakewalk. Vegeta gets punched right through the wall, waking Goku up. Arale's no joke. Arale in the Dr. Slump manga can crack the earth in half. So she was doing like, planetary feats way before Goku and any of these guys even had the ability to even come close to it. So Vegeta's like, she's so strong, she must be a gag character. Which again, that's traditional, typical Toriyama to break the fourth wall, which Dr. Slump did a lot, and make fun of itself. We're not supposed to take this seriously because Arale is a joke character. So Goku and Arale tease recognizing each other. Mr. Satan tells Goku, no, listen, she's being manipulated by the evil scientist. Goku's like, I don't really feel right fighting this kid, which is weird because Arale is actually older than Goku. She's an android. I should have mentioned that. If you watch my Who is Arale video, you know what I'm talking about. She is not even human. Senbei created her. So Vegeta and her start going at it. He attacks and punches her. She goes flying. She flips all the way around the earth and kicks Vegeta right in the ass. That's right. He kicks her right in the ass. Vegeta, this is awesome. Vegeta gets up, kicks her right into like this big totem pole. I can't wait to hear Quinn's review on this whenever he does it, if it's going to be him doing it, because he always pronounced it totem pole. So we actually are seeing a totem pole in Dragon Ball. I thought that was pretty damn funny. So he knocks her head off when he hits her in the totem pole. So she's decapitated and everybody's freaking out. Then Arale wakes up. She's fine. She mentions how she can crack the earth, kicks Vegeta right into the chest. He goes flying, then follows it up with a headbutt, and he's gone. Again, the humiliation of Vegeta continues. I can't imagine the salty tears from Vegeta fanboys. Don't take it personal, guys. It's just supposed to be a joke. Just trust me. So Goku then remembers her and powers up to SS Blue. Arale fires a mouth blast. The Nicha cannon. Goku fires back with a Kamehameha. Arale's like, okay, I'm going to hit you with a bigger one now. And Satan's freaking out. Everybody's like, oh my god, the world is going to end. Bulma asks Whis for help. She's like, Whis, I need you. Beerus is asleep in a hammock, and he's like, I can't do anything. Beerus is asleep. So the Gachans finish eating all the buildings. Senbei then says, I have an idea. He uses the machine to create the infamous Dr. Slump pink piece of turd, the crap, the piece of shit. While all this is going on, Goku and Arale are powering up. Goku's powering up a Super Kamehameha. Arale's powering up the Super Nicha cannon. Trunks runs in with the shit stick and throws the poop at Arale. Arale then gets distracted and starts to poke it. And it's because in Dr. Slump, Arale likes to poke shit. That's just one of the jokes that they do in Slump. It's classic Toriyama. But they're worried because this is only temporary. Bulma, of course, then grabs this camera and asks everybody in the world, I guess, whoever's watching it, imagine the tastiest food so that Senbei's invention can make it. So I guess with Senbei's invention, you have to have an imagination to make it real. So Senbei's invention makes coffee candy. Beerus immediately wakes up after sensing the coffee candy, and Arale and Goku are about to blast each other, and then Beerus and Whis show up right then and there. Yes, this is a plot hole because we said before that it takes him about, 22 minutes or so. As long as an anime episode, he said in Dragon Ball Super Episode 3, it takes them that long to get to Earth from Beerus' planet. Whis, of course, says he never traveled so fast before, which, of course, is supposed to cover up the plot hole, but it really doesn't. Again, don't take it personal. It's a gag episode. This episode is like the driver's license episode of DBZ. You just can't overthink it. And if you want to, just skip it, honestly. So Beerus Beerus shows up. He wants the coffee candy. Mashirito's talking shit. Beerus Hakkai's the motherfucker. Whis explains that even if you're a ghost, Beerus can still destroy you. So Beerus loves the coffee candy. He freaks out. He's like, he's never tasted anything so good, even better than pudding. He steps on the ground. Everybody flies back, and he's about to destroy Arale. He's like getting ready to blow her away, but Senbei and the others are begging for him to stop. Then all of a sudden, he doesn't destroy her because guess what? Beerus has diarrhea. And thus he and Whis leave because Beerus has to go take a shit. I love it. I absolutely love it. What a great ending to this episode. I really had so much fun watching it. Arale and the others, of course, head back to Penguin Village, and that's the end of our story. It ends with a last clip of Vegeta hanging from a tree by his hair. So, wacky. Easily the wackiest and weirdest Dragon Ball Super episode, but it's less weird if you understand the humor that Dr. Slump has. Just, you cannot take anything in this episode seriously. It's almost like it happened in its own, like, alternate continuity or something. So next week, I'm so excited for next week. I'm going to be doing my predictions video, of course, on this channel tomorrow. It should be up. The God of Destruction, Champa, returns, and we're going to have Universe 6 versus Universe 7 baseball. And the Universe 6 team, Boltamo and Vegeta, will be on Team Champa. I cannot wait. I'm hyped. Next week's going to be so much fun. This week was a lot of fun, too. Honestly, I can't wait for the new arc, but I am enjoying these little fun episodes, these comedy episodes. Anyways, thank you guys again. Of course, remember to pick up your Geekdom 101 t-shirt. Very limited time. You can get those shirts. They're not going to be on sale forever. They'll be at your doorstep before Christmas. Hurry up, make that order. Ships internationally. Thank you as always for supporting the channel. Tons of videos coming your way in December. I will talk to you guys later on.